So, Paul, whenever you want, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna put it in full screen, so I won't see you because I have some notes. Well, this is the last sessions. To do a recap of the last 3 modules, 4, 5, and we will go through the case study just to comment if you have some questions and doubts. And just to start, well, during the module 4 and 5, finally, as we intended in a construction or shelter project, finally we're gonna pass from the planning to the construction and then to the handover. So like I say, so just to start to break a little bit the ice, I would like to ask you from these objectives that you are seeing here from the planning, construction in Hanover, where do you think are the most hardest objectives to achieve? So let's say, give you this hand. So chronogram, contracts, follow-up, and Hanover. We're gonna discuss later on, but just to have you in your experience, what are the steps that we have reviewed in the previous module, more complicated, the previous modules and the ones we're gonna see today. So the planning part or the construction part. Do you have any experience on that? The sorry, MSF Sana What's an specialist? I know there is quite a construction ongoing in Yemen.
Yes, our construction in Yemen is different between the simple one to complicated.
Yeah.
But the complicated one, it is just in Haidan project to reconstruction the hospital there. Yeah.
But then you participate in the planning phase and then in the execution, right? Even the complex. Let's talk about the complex projects.
Yes.
And what do you think? And what do you think are the most complicated steps in this in the overall construction project? Starting with from the planning and
yes.
till.
Firstly, to define the scope of the project.
Okay.
What's the project will include and component. Then how to define the specification and the POQ for this project to be clear for the contractor to be easy in the evaluation and the analysis process. And then how to plan to provide the actually and the reality plan for time and cost for this project to be reality and not to avoid the risk in the project.
Okay. Okay. So I think if we summarize what you have said, we will say like is the planning phases of the project, right? And
Yes.
any other thanks Musab, any other comments on this? So do you agree on this, or do you think there are other phases that could be more tricky or more problematic? Fahad, the log supervisor from OCB.
You want me to speak?
Yes.
So yeah, I think I totally agree with Sami. If the planning was not good, something will be added to the original contract, which need to be to make amendment for this. Any change, if we didn't properly plan our contract for the construction, we will need to make amendment or something like this. We face some issues like this one, but we improve our contraction process in our work.
Okay, okay. Thanks. Totally agree. Just in well, all I think all we all agree on this topic. So the planning is in the first three models that we saw in the previous session are the most let's say not complicated, but the ones that are taking a little bit more of time. But the what we would like to underline is that you not need to be taking place and need to be done properly by we say this is by experience and we always repeat the same message for construction projects, for shelter projects. um, in most of our experience in with construction managers, when we try to send them to the field as soon as possible. um, and most of the time the comments that we receive from people in the field, not technical or people in coordination, is why do we need to have a construction manager if we are not starting the construction yet? Okay, and we explain exactly what you are mentioned, because the definition of the needs, because the assessment, the feasibility part, the planning of all the resources need to be taken in place. But then apparently, I think it's a misconception of that construction manager is not doing only doing only construction, and it's something that we try to change a little bit, and well, and it's the message that we wanted to give it to you. Other observation is that when the construction manager is arrived to the place and he start to develop drawings, to ask questions to the people, to the staff, to the medicals, to the to logs, and many of the observations is like as well from the field is like why the construction guy is taking so long, is sitting in his desk, and we don't see any construction happening in the building site. Well, again, it's exactly the same, the same the same of observation that we are getting over and over again. So today for the model 4 and 5, we're going to see an example of a chronogram. We can talk and discuss about the contracts, how to do follow-up in Hanover. Try to every phase during the every phase builds on the previous one, so need to be everything needs to be assessed according with the like is dictated in the different phases and not skipping one. And then we will discuss a little bit about the case study. So just to recap in what you have just mentioned, the module 1, it was assessment, and it was to basically identify the needs and the context. The module 2 was the feasibility part, and was to basically to adapt the response to what we have in the reality. It has been just mentioned by some of you. And then of course the design. So define the solutions and according with the and quantify according with the resources that we have, the materials that we have on place, or the material that can be budget, and the in the real needs. So now finally we're gonna move to what is the execution of the projects. And today, well, we're gonna focus in what is human resources and contract. So the first step that we're gonna it will take place is to allocate human resources, material, and budget if, to the project. Create chronograms to put all these resources together in a visual tool that is the like a timetable with the resources and the time is taken for execution. Formalize the agreements through a contract. Okay, we will see this in a minute, and then the planning and follow up to have a little bit more, to have a little bit more control and accountability in our shelter or construction project. So the first, the first message that we would like to transmit to you is the tool that we use, call it chronogram, is like the backbone of will be the backbone of our project, and especially for the follow-up, and as well for part of the accountability. So what is need to be included inside a chronogram? Well, you're gonna define all the different tasks that will be, like say, like put it in a different phases, all the tasks to achieve our small construction project. And every single task need to have a dependency according with the next task, or according with a task that can be done simultaneously. Okay, so the funds. So you have to define, like if you needed first cleaning, and then to bring materials, and then it's something that you can do it together, or you can do it in well, you can do it parallel. You can do it when the first action is a halfway, or you need to have it done to start with the next action. So is what you need to define when you do this chronogram. Why is this useful, the chronogram? So because it will give you an estimation of the time. You will put as well the days where there is some bank holidays, or where there are some days that you cannot count. Okay, and you can see it visually in this timetable, and it will give you a more approximate, but as well a more realistic. And somehow it's approximate, but it will give you. It will be a tool to communicate as well with the stakeholders. In the case that is the medical team who is asking you to do like the case study, to do like a waiting area because they have some problems of crowd control, and we need to put a waiting area to order a little bit all the people who is waiting for a OPD, or for a pharmacy, or for a lab, etc. So the medicals will make the request, and let's say that this is urgent. So the chronogram in that way is a tool that you will show to the medical to say, okay, this is all the steps that we need to take in considerations, and we cannot do it before to complete every single of the steps. If they ask for for more detailed explanation. So with having this tool, I think is very relevant to avoid giving false expectations to the client. In this case, our medical colleagues, and because you will have a more realistic picture, of the time that it will be needed. As well, this tool it's not the chronogram is not a tool that once you design it, once you put it on a paper, it doesn't mean that you will not be moving. Always there will be delays. Always there will be some unexpected situations according with the context that can affect the time frame. But it's good that you have it, because you can add these unexpected issues and put it in your chronogram to reflect the situation with the reality. So in your case, in your experience, how do you think are what are the main challenges to create a realistic chronogram? So what has been in your experience, if you have experience doing chronograms or a timetable, what do you think is the most problematic things to put it on paper, and then has been causing some delays? Any experience in your case? Yes, the MSF. I was about to ask you. MSF Gaza log. Sorry, I don't have the name.
Yes. The delivery time and the construction period. And you, for example, expect it to finish, and then there happens delay with material, with workers not showing up. Example, it may extend your timeline for a day or two, and then you have works that are how can I say it, finished to start, that need to start after this work. So
Okay.
you have a bit of delay.
So you say the accumulation of delivery times of construction materials.
Yes, supply, and then even in the construction phase, you plan for a specific task to be done for 3 days, and it takes the contractor 4 days, 5 days, and then he comes and he says, no, but the worker is this and that, and it's always the case.
Okay, well, for in the case that you mentioned, is when the supply is up to you or is up to the contractor?
Up to the contractor.
Okay. Well, in those cases, well, this is like a very like a classic problems that we have. In some cases, what we try to do is put the chronogram as well inside the contract, to make it part of the contract, to try to push since the beginning to the contractor to say, okay, so we're gonna put these ones, and in any delay will be charged. Of course, we have to be as well realistic according with the context. I think Gaza is quite complicated right now, and because it's completely out of control as well from the contractor. But in most of the cases, when there is some regularity, the access or roads to arrive to the projects are okay. There is not a heavy rainy seasons ongoing. All the timing needs to be respected, and since the beginning you agree with the chronogram with the contractor, and you say, are you sure? And you ask it twice or 3 times to say, are you sure you're gonna respect this, because it will be part of the contract, and you explain that. So this could be a way to push and to try to avoid this type of delays. But it's true that this is really common mistakes. Sorry, there was some from AMRAM project.
For me, I think 2 points are more important in making the time frame. The first one is the performance rates, like how many square meters that a builder can build on a day. Also, the second important point is the contractor's capacity. Some contractors have more laborers than the others, and they can make this task within, let's say, instead of 1 month, they can make a contract in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
This is the difference, the capacity of the contractor and the performance rates.
Okay. Yes, very two good points. The so what you're gonna do at the beginning, okay, when you are planning for planning a project, and you will do a first draft or a chronogram, there is something that need to be agreed with the contractor, okay, to exactly tackle the 2 points that you have mentioned. You know, if the contractor has less on low capacities in terms of in terms of resources, so he could eventually agree and speed up a little bit, or make it a little bit longer, the contract, if it's the contractor that you have chose. In other cases, you're gonna, when you choose a contractor, it will be the uh, one of the reasons why you're gonna choose a contractor is because he has more resources. Okay, so in that case, you're gonna go for the one who can finish quickly the job. So it will be it's normally is the time and the money to not to choose the contractor. So normally you will not adapt to um, uh, your chronogram and make it even longer, the period of constructions. It might be some cases where you have 2 or 3 candidates, and then in your chronogram, the one you draft, you put like a 1.5 months, and then you arrived in all the contractors give you 2 months, and then in that case you question yourself, okay, maybe there is something that I'm not taking in consideration. Maybe supply of material is taking more time than I wanted, that I thought. You talk with you talk with you talk with the local staff to try to not to understand a little bit more. Maybe you were too optimistic, but in the combination on between the budget of the price of the contract and the timing will be one of the two main points to take in consideration a contractist. Sorry, the Watson.
Sorry, Paul, let me add
Yes.
one comment on this, because I think it's important also to highlight the fact that not always the shortest chronogram is the best one, because it has to be also realistic. Some of the times now we receive a very short one because they want to be the first bidder, to gain the contract, and they know that this is not realistic, but they tell you we will do it in 2 weeks, and this is not feasible. So we need always also to compare with something realistic. We need to have this knowledge, and asking also local people, I think, is one of the ways to get it. Also some technical people to know more or less what is a realistic chronogram, and to compare always with this, because there are some steps that have to be followed. You cannot build the roof before having the foundations, so you will need some weeks in any case, just to add this information.
Okay, then the Watson. Sorry, from Sana.
Yes, we need to understand the main activities of the project and the secondary activities for these main activities, to understand what we need resource for these activities, what the risk, and what the context of the project. Because as Musab said, the performance rate will different between city, then village, then rural area, and the urban area. We need to take them in our account. Thank you.
Thanks. Very, very good observation. Very good remark. So yes, indeed, the context it will be definitely a key factors to to be taken in consideration for the sake of a realistic chronogram. Um, uh, Definitely remote areas or places where you have is far away or the is affected the communication road ways are affected by the rainy season, security context, any other any lake of suppliers, etc. All this will affect at the end the chronogram. We have we have just to make one more example, in one of the bigger projects 2 years ago, also for an emergency, a full hospital done in tents in Chad. Talking with the coordination team, the head of mission told us like, yes, here is not a. He was sitting in the capital. Yes, in here is not a problem. It's not a problem to do a permanent OT. A room like this can be done in 1 month, in 30 days. And so let's go for the permanent OT. The rest of the hospital has been done in tents, and MSF supply everything, so all the tents and materials. But the OT has been handled to a contractor. And it took exactly 6 months to complete that small structure, because was not a complicated structure. Well, it was indeed OT, but doing like a very compacted design. But the supply of materials from the contractor, the I remember just to arrive to the with the roof, only the roof, I think it took like 1 month, because they was arriving one piece of the metallic charpentry, then another piece, and then another piece. It took only 1 month. So was like another reminder that, like building in a very remote, in the middle of the desert, in that case, well, it makes everything much more longer. And there still was one people who raised his hand, or was everything okay?
Yes, I actually raised my hand, but some of
Yes.
yes. So I wanted to say, from my experience, I have included chronogram in the contract so that the contractor can follow and know what is expected of him. But then at some point we overlooked the weather conditions. It was raining at that period, so it actually affected the chronogram, which caused delay in the lead time of the work. Also, from my experience, substandard goods, the contractor brings in the items for the work, but then on reception, you see that they are not up to standard. So we had to tell him to take it back. And so all this back and forth affected the lead time. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Also, very good observation that the rainy season, for people who are not from the place, from the from local, and doesn't know when the rainy season, need to be asked if, of course, um, if the rainy seasons might affect not only the construction itself, but the supply of the construction materials. And this is a very good point. In South Sudan as well, we have another example where there is one specific period of the year where you can make the transport, because it's done by by the river, okay, and that is during the in the middle of a little bit halfway between rainy season and dry season, okay, when the rivers are going down, but still they can be navigated. And then the construction periods is done only during the dry season, of course, and also because we have the clay, very expensive clays, call it black cotton soil, and it can be done only in that specific moment. So these two key factors, the supply of materials and the construction period time, makes very complicated to draft a simple chronogram, but it needs to be done very, very carefully and need to be planned everything, and everything need to be happen in this case with dates, or let's say putting the months in here, because otherwise it will be unrealistic. Just to finish with the, well, not to finish, to talk a little bit more about the chronogram, just wanted to mention, so like I tried to explain before, I don't know if it was clear, there are some activities that can be done in parallel, okay? For example, once you make the order should be, this is a mistake, the order should be done in here, and then the materials delivery should be done in here. But of course, you need to do first the materials order and then the delivery. And this, so that we say that is one activity, okay? One task is depending on the other to happen, okay? There are some other activities that can be done at the same time, like for example cleaning of the cleaning of the plot of the area where you're gonna build. That can be done in parallel, where the I don't know, like for example, like the supply, the buying of materials, or the time that you have to consider to bring the materials to the site. So that's not a problem, and it will give you, it will give you a visual. It will give you a big idea, but it will show you on paper how these parallels can be done at the same time, and where you can optimize your time. Okay, because it doesn't need to, you don't need to wait one activity to start. We start with the other. I hope this is clear. So my question for you in this sense is, who do you think should be involved when you are doing your chronogram and when you are updating your chronogram? Because that's two different moments. So yes, the Gaza log.
So when you're updating, you need your let's say the medical team. They need to be aware, because when you deliver the date, they will start using it from the next day. So they need to be aware on when can they expect their construction to be done. And
So in this,
during the process, you need to involve Watson, you need to involve everyone.
And during the creation of the chronogram, need to be involved the Watson team,
Watson team, log team, and then yes.
Okay.
And your
So
HL and coordination as well. They need to be aware.
So basically, for during the once you know that you're gonna have some delays or some modifications in your chronogram, it should be
Yes.
the client to be
The client.
to be updated. Everyone is agree with that? Collins was about to say something.
Yes, what I actually wanted to say, in addition to what the first speaker mentioned, is all the stakeholders, including the requester of the need, and the contractors, maybe external contractors also, and also the coordination team.
Okay, this is during the making of the
chronogram.
Yeah, totally agree. So should be involved with all the people who has some level of participation or intervention in the making of the project, because they will give you a more realistic time lead, for that need to be put it inside the chronogram, and you will have, you know, the total, and you will discuss as well with them, with all these stakeholders, which activities can be done at the same time. Okay, well, maybe you know, you cannot put like electrical cables before to do the excavation, or some watts and works can need to wait, you know, the electrical works to be done, or maybe it can be done at the same time. And this is the kind of discussion that needs to happen to have a more realistic, even if it's an estimation, but a more realistic timetable. I think as well, Abuya, you wanted to say something from the guy from Abuya, our log from Abuya.
Yes, I wanted to also add that the supply team should be involved, since sometimes you might be buying the items locally. So you need to also, in the creation of the chronogram, you should ask them how long it will take for these materials to be delivered.
Yeah, exactly. In case you, as MSF, the let's say the person who is leading the supply of material, yes. If it's us, if MSF who are doing itself the project, yes, of course, it needs to be updated. Or if there are some components that will be provided or supplied by the supply team, of course, need to be well discussed with them. But as well, I will say it as well that when you have some updates besides the medical team or besides the clients, I think as well the rest of the stakeholders as well need to be they need to be communicated, to need to be informed, that you are facing some delays, because some activities might be affected, or some activities it will take place only when some other tasks are finished. Okay. So now contracts. Why we might need contracts? So it's just to make clear for all the stakeholders, for the contractors, for MSF side, and as well for the clients, that all the expectations are clear. Because of course the MSF contracts has been drafted and it has been revised and validated by our legal department for the protection of MSF. And as well, of course, it's not that we are, you know, taking all the advantage, but it's just to protect both sides, to avoid that there is any abuse in any of the two sides. And always we try to, you know, to set this the objectives of the contracts as clear as possible, to try to don't forget any let's say any topic or any issue or any ambiguity inside the contract. Has been, well, is recommended to have, you know, what is as a smart criteria. Let's say need to be very specific. What are the objectives? Need to be measurable. That means that you, if we are saying that the building will have that area and that length of walls and that volume of reinforced concrete, so that will be in the contract said. So you can indeed measure. Then achievable, so you achievable in realistic, so according with the context where you are working, is something that will be feasible. And of course, what we just mentioned, it is should be measurable in time as well. The contract that you have seen in in the example. Do you have any comment on that? Because I think it's not a good example. And I bring it in here, and then I will share with you another contract. But I want to know if you have seen and checked the contract that is in the example. Any reaction on that? Who has not participated yet? The log supply from Jamtoli.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. I see the contract and we did some contract, but we are a bit confusion because we see the 2-3 version of the contractors, and also we have a different types of template. For the big contract there is another template, and for the light contract there is another template.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
yes, in the contract that you have seen in there inside the training is let's say like a standard contract for a medium construction, but I found it that it's very long, and that's why I wanted to show you a contract that has been approved by the legal department, and is called light construction contract.
yes.
Okay, so you can find it in here. So in here you can see there is 7 pages, but now indeed there is 7 pages including the annex. Okay, so indeed it will be everything will remain in only 3 pages. Trying to do it trying to how can I say, to be more in the perspective of the really small projects. Okay, if we're gonna do like a waiting area in a very remote area where there is no real contractors, but only a guy who has 4 or 5 workers, he doesn't have credential as a proper contractor, he doesn't have a bank account, he doesn't have, a lot of the requirements like for a normal construction contract are asked. In this case, are not fulfilled. So for those cases, we try to adapt this, still I think it's necessary to formalize a contract, because it's a record for MSF, and to have the signature of a person, and that's why it's included in here. What else we are putting here is, the BOQ, because it needs to be said how the quantities of materials that will be needed, specific technical specifications that need to be explained. So why we are using wooden frames for the roofing structure, and then they need to be reflected in the drawings that you will make. The chronogram could be is what I mentioned before. So the timetable could be put it in here. And then a certificate for some documents that could be annexed, like for the certificate for a temporary reception, final reception, and this is something that you have to read since the beginning to the contractor of the contractor of our project. Okay. So this one is not included in the training, but I will share through Mikel to you. And my question in here is, according with your experience, what do you what do you think are the most common mistakes that can be found in a construction contract? Any experience? I don't see you. Any sort of issues that has been has been founded in the MSF and the contractor didn't agree on that during or after the construction project?
Yeah, currently we are using this template, what you show me.
The
So
one
we are
I
using, and
the one
yeah,
okay.
we are currently using it, and it is quite difficult to let you know that basically it is quite difficult to find the qualified contractor in here where we worked, because most of the qualified contractor lives in the city area and they are not agreed to come here for the small work. And the main challenge is with the unqualified contractor. Basically, they do not understand all the things. Most of the contractor cannot read the English or understanding the English clearly.
Yeah.
And yeah, just we explain them. This is including all the points in the contract, and then we start the work. And basically, they put there the phonogram, but they do it by supporting with another technical person just for documentary.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very good point. The one of the definitely the context makes the whole difference. In the cases when the people cannot read English, what do you do? What have you done?
They read English but not clearly understand all the things, because basically whatever I said, that it is not qualified contractor.
Okay.
Yeah.
But have you tried to, I don't know, like to translate it to another language or?
Because we explain them what is included in the contract, but we cannot do it by our language, but English, whatever in Bangla. Because our
Okay.
language is Bangla, so we cannot write the Bangla in the contract.
Okay.
But we explain them what we written in the contract.
Okay.
And we give a signing contract to them.
Okay. But you explained like every point by point, and then what is content in what is included in absolutely everything. But I think it's yeah, important as well. Yeah, have you done that, or just like a general points of the contract content?
I have done.
Sorry. Then Collins, what do you have something to say?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I've learned so much from our discussion here, but I just want to mention some challenges we had in the previous construction we carried out in the previous project I worked in Cross River State, Nigeria. We worked in a very remote area where they had challenge with water. So the previous contractor we engaged, he never included water as part of the BOQ, the resource that he needed. So the later one we engaged for another project requested it. So he was now requesting for, we did not envisage that maybe something of such will come up. So it was like, in that remote area, there is no water, so we need to make provision for water for him to implement the job, which was not covered in the project, in the contract. So this might be some element missing in the in the contract. Missing of
very good
important.
point. And you say that it was not mentioned in the BOQ, right?
It was not
The
the BOK, yes.
okay, the supply of water.
Yeah.
In what do you think was not mentioned? Because at the time, well, we normally in all our projects is like MSF who supply the water, no, for the construction. But it's true that like, if you have a specific context where MSF is not supplying or is doing like a water trucking or is coming from, very only for patients, or because they are not patients, so the Watson team is not working on there. And how do you solve that?
Yes. What happened was we do provide water for our medical activities, but this is a construction relating to, we were trying to work on fencing the primary health.
Okay.
So the contractor was like, he's just working in this area, so he's not conversant with shortage of water. So we need to provide him water. Meanwhile, the previous contractor, he never asked for water. He made provision for water by himself. So it now gave me an insight that next time we should be more thorough in everything that we need for the construction, including water, even to the list of items, so that it won't be an issue that everybody will need to come back again and review contracts. So it was a lesson learned for me.
Yeah, exactly. Very good point. So I think the BOQ, normally when you do calculations for reinforced concrete, well, there are many tools. It automatically will give you, the tool, the amount of water. But at the end in the BOQ we never put it because we give for granted that this will be MSF who will provide that. So I think your observation is very good in the fact that we need to know the context. We need to know if we will be supplying the water or will be the contractor supplying the water, because still there is no water available. And yeah, in the case of Meche in Chad, for the people who is from OCBA, also was a good example of the issues that we have with the water. So thanks a lot for the remarks. What do you think about the
Paul, sorry,
yes.
Paul. There is a comment on
Yes.
the chat by Sami in Sana. I don't know if you want to say it or
Okay. Or
it's about the contract. I don't know.
yeah, the MSF. If is MSF taking FIDIC as a contract for? Well, this is a very good question. We have, as you know, there is a small team based in Paris that is indeed like the legal unit, or like they are like a group of lawyers who work for all the sections, and inside that legal team, there is a couple of persons that are specialists in contract of services. So long time ago, this small team started to work in the contracts for supply of services, and a construction contract falls into services, and they came out with a standard MSF contract. I think they are the same who made, like, the light contract or for the big contract, for big contracts or big construction projects. And well, and the 5 sections or the 4 sections, because OCA did something different. The 4 sections, we were just happy, and we were using everything till one moment. Somebody from, I think was in one sections working in Kenya, doing a big construction project, came with exactly with these questions. What happened is that a big contractor in Kenya raised exactly this question, saying like why we are using the MSF contract when here in Kenya there is a standard construction contract for all these medium big size projects, and we make exactly the same questions to these legal departments, and they felt it like uh, like offended. Like I say, we don't support the FIDIC contracts. We have invested quite a lot in the MSF standard because it protects more MSF, but and they didn't want to even to discuss about these feeding contracts. But the problem that we have is like in many contracts, MSF is like just another organization, but the standard of the country is the FIDIC one. So it's a good discussion that needs to be taking place whenever we have, especially whenever we have this problem, because I know like in a lot of African big, well, the developing African countries, these and only these FIDIC contracts are recognized by contractors. And well, this is the current situation. So I know that it's not an answer, but it's what is happening today. So whenever we can, and the problem is like even the MSF contracts are not recognized by the local law. When in case we will have like I think this will happen only like in big projects. In case we will have like a big um, um, a big issue, legal issue, the MSF standard contracts will not be recognized by the national law, and at that time we're gonna have a big problem. So I don't know I don't know if was clear. It's not an answer, but it's what is happening today. So what I will say for medium, big size construction projects is like you need to ask to your coordinator, to ask to legal advisors on the country, especially if we are talking about big amounts of money, to see which contract will suit better for that context. Okay. And just last question on regarding the contract. Do you think that the contract that you have work week is covering the safety of the worker? Have you ever experienced some issues on this regard? Any any reaction on this? Where most of the time we just forget about that, and we say like, yeah, everything will be done by the contractor, and then if something happens, is at the end is MSF who need to provide the medical service to the worker. Well, it's not how it should be, but it's how it's like it's happening. Do you have any experience in that? Have you checked the log from North Gaza? And log supply. He might have some experience on this. Any other one who has who want to react on that? Do you think we are fair with the safety of the workers in this included in this is covered by the contract?
We should. Can I answer? Sorry.
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
We should ensure the safety of the workers, because if anything happens, it's our premises, it's our work, and it will be our responsibility.
So well, I think we all agree on this. I think it's something that it needs to be included in the contract. I know that we're for the let's say for the volume of projects that we are talking in this module and these sessions, we might not have like one of you has just comment might not have like big contractors or with the contractors with the small resources. Do you think it's fair to ask them as well not to provide helmets, boots, gloves as a minimum? What we have to do in those cases?
If they don't have the proper safety equipment, you need to make the working space a bit more safe, moving the material at one place, workshop at another place, and they should have at least the helmets, the boots. This is the minimum.
Okay, I think that's the minimum. But my question is when you say making more safe, no, the building sites. What does it mean that we need to provide that as a MSF?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think it could be analyzed case by cases, and as soon as you identify there is, the context doesn't, uh, 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 you cannot ask these kind of things to contractors. My advice is to MSF to provide these things. So for small constructions, the minimum that we would provide as soon as if you are working with timber, wood, with nails, with hammer, put it shelves, not shelves, some stairways to. These are the minimum three induments that you can provide. It's like the helmet, the gloves, and the boots. And make well, when you are doing the follow-up and supervision of the work, is at least to call the attention of the contractor for these small topics. I know that they will tell you, they will answer you like, we haven't done this for years, and this is the way we work, but please insist on these topics. And you need to make this point clear. Okay. So now I leave Miguel to give this. Sorry, you wanted to raise your hand.
Yes, I want to add another remark, because it happened a couple of times that the contractors, initially they're looking for profit. And I need to re-stress that no child labor in the site. This is something maybe in other contexts it's not the same, but when you have kids also, it's not very nice.
You mean child labor?
Yeah, like under 18, some workers, they pay them less to come.
Well, yes, in the contract that I show you before, let me see, I can open it again. In this one, at the end, as one of the annex, indeed, there is this topic as a ethical practice. Okay, that none of the workers need to be underage. Okay, so this point needs to be clear to the. I know it's happening quite a lot in Middle East, Afghanistan, Yemen, Pakistan, and will need to be observed and remarked, and will try to avoid as much as possible. But yes, and make it clear, in just to refuse, because we we cannot do it because it's, you know, the MSF chart who say that we cannot use it, and no, that's it. Thank you for this comment. Then I leave this to Miguel.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Hi, everyone. So now we will talk about the follow-up of construction and shelter works. So first is planning, as we saw. This is very important to plan in advance. We need to know what we want to do, and then we do it, which is the second step, executing. And then also we need to make sure that we are doing is according to our plan. So this will be the third one, monitoring. And then the last one, if we check that there is something which is going wrong, we need to modify, we need to change, we need to adapt. So to adjust it. This is a way we tend to explain the construction phases in a linear way, but it's true that it's a kind of also circular. So sometimes when we adjust, we need to come back to the planning, executing, and monitoring. It's we tend to simplify, but it's a bit more complex than this. But it's true that in this kind of small shelter projects, well, it will happen more it may happen in a linear way. Then this second point about the daily follow-up notes, this is what we need to do when we go to the work site. And we recommend always leaving a written track record. So as you know, there is a lot of rotation between us, no, among our colleagues. Someone is leaving, then Loco is also leaving, LTL, someone else, and then nobody reminds exactly why it's taking place, this new building, or why we took this decision, all these kind of things. So from especially now here we are talking about the construction side, but also from the beginning, it's good to take always this kind of notes and share them among everyone who is involved in the project, all the stakeholders. Then also taking some pictures, not only about the final outcome, but also from the beginning to the end. Like this also we can check if something has been done in a wrong way and we can correct. And checklist also, this is very useful when we want to do something and not forget it. Having this kind of checklist can help us a lot to not forget anything. Then we have what we already mentioned, all the safety points. Can you move it, Paul? There. Yeah, the safety issues that have been raised already, that this is a very important and key point in our policies. We don't want anyone to be injured during the construction process. So always, as we already mentioned, need to have gloves, all kind of protective equipment. This is required because, yeah, as we said, we need to guarantee the well-being of all our workers and also the ones from the construction company. And we face these challenges that they always say that we work like this here. You see people in flip-flop now with working in very bad conditions, and we need to reinforce this message. As we said, this is a key element. And then fourth point, this is also very important. Never approve payment without inspection. In our contract, most of the times, especially in big constructions, we have a small percentage, which is between 5-10%. We call it guarantee. Also, we keep always a small amount of money that will be paid 1 year or 6 months once the building will be finished. This is after completion of the building, but also in the different phases, we need to make sure that we are paying for someone which has been well done. To give you an example, also we can come back to the project that Paul mentioned before in chat. and nobody was doing a good follow-up. We realized that the quality was not good. They did whatever they want, the construction company. We paid without checking this, and now you cannot claim, you cannot say anything because it's already done, it's already paid, and they left. So this is also a key point to be respected. Can you pass to the next one, Paul, please? Okay. Yeah. Then here we will go specifically to the safety and quality issues. We need to verify tools. They need to be in a good state, and PPE before starting. As you know, PPE, personal protective equipment. We already mentioned gloves, helmet, and boots. No, this is like the key elements, and vest also. But this we need to ensure that it's in the work site. Then, yeah, inspect materials at delivery and on site. This is also very important. We need to make sure that what we are paying is what we are getting in the workplace. Sometimes also it happens that you receive something the first time that they are coming with the materials is good quality, and then it's not. No? So we need to keep always this verification. No, it's not something which happened once. We need to do regular follow-up to make sure that the quality of everything that we receive in the work site is good, and also the works that they are performing. Then the third point is this respect of technical standards. Sometimes also we tend to try to do things faster. We understand that there is a lot of pressure. We want to finish everything faster, but it's true that most of the times when we try to avoid some of the phases in the long term, even if at the beginning we think it will be shorter, it's longer. We need more time, we need more money at the end because we need to repair something which was not right from the beginning. And this is, it leads us to this fourth point, which is what we already said. We try to do things faster, so it implies some delays, more time, more money, and sometimes also, since we don't respect everything in the right way, it may bring also some injuries, which, as we said, is something that we want always to avoid. Trying to recap all these points, I want to ask you something. Which of these points you think is more critical? Safety, materials, or documentation? Is there anyone who wants to say his point of view? So safety, materials, or documents? In these 3 points, what do you think we need to be more focused? Have Edgar who says, oh, yeah, it's true. You want to explain, Edgar, to say something else?
Yes, I mean, like safety materials or documentation, they are related. Like if your safety, let's say it's important, but if materials doesn't meet the standards, it's a risk or a safe issue for the other or for everyone using the installations. And then documentation is needed to check and to follow the life cycle of the structure. That's why I believe that at the end, like materials are defined on the documentation, and these materials affects on the safety personnel or the team, and it's kind of a cycle. Like everything is linked together.
Yeah, exactly. No, everything is very important. For me, I think, yes, the highest point will be like safety, right? Because we don't want have personal issues, no, with people who's working there, but everything is related to everything. So materials also will have a implication on the safety and also documentation, as you said. So at the end, it's not something that we can work in closed silos. Everything is linked all together. Yeah, it's true. Then we can go to the next.
Just wanted to show something to the in this is not included. Well, it's not a document that is not in the module, but I will share with you this document here is done by OCB. It's called Safety on Site. Of course, this is intended for construction sites, but I think it's a good. There are some quite important topics that it will be nice if you can take a look on this. This is not. It's not something that you need to know by heart, but I think it's relevant that you know that these type of documents exist, and you can consult it in any time. The safety on a building site is not something that we are. It's not something that MSF is invented, but what it has, these documents, is put it a little bit more in context with the scenarios where we are working. Here is covering absolutely everything. I mean, everything in the sense that, like, from small to big constructions. If you can see in here, even when they are talking about heavy machinery, of course, you will not be responsible for this type of scenarios. But at least take take a look about not general works, electricity works, hazardous products like the asbestos, and especially personal protective equipment, some other measures that can be taken place in small projects. And then it's quite really easy to navigate, and is as well presented as a sort of checklist, and so it's something that you can print, and you can just do when you're doing a supervision of their building site, you can just check, like, this is working, this is not working, we are missing this part, blah blah blah, and that's it. I think it's really easy to be to be consulted. Okay, yes, I just wanted to mention this.
Okay, now about accountability. We already know that we need to leave everything in a written way. So and also we know that the construction in a daily basis is not working always 100%. In fact, never 100% as we planned. So all the deviation that we have from this initial plan, we need to keep it keep the record of this evolution of the projects, to try to have all this story, but also to try to anticipate the outcomes, because sometimes we already understand that we have a delay of some weeks, so we don't need to wait until the end of the chronogram to say, okay, we know that we couldn't achieve this construction in the deadline that we wanted, but we can already try to warn before and to inform everyone that there are some deviations going. Then second point, photos. This we mentioned it, but taking these pictures will give us track about the evolution of the works. Site visits also, this is very important, and BOQs, the initial BOQ, and then what we finally receive and what we finally use during the construction cycle. It may differ, so need to be specify all these small modifications. Also, because sometimes we need, as someone mentioned before, some amendments. Some of the times we need to adapt something in the contract, so it's very important if we have this daily basis follow-up. It's very easy to say, okay, this is the extra materials that we have. All these ones also, they are not included. We can do the calculation and we get this final budget, which is what we have to pay. Much more clear than if we don't do this follow-up, and then at the end of the process, we need to try to remember what happened 6 months ago, because we will not get the good figures. This is the reason behind. All this process ensures transparency and traceability. So this is very, this is something that in MSF is very important, should be everywhere. And then also the last point is, as we said, there is a lot of rotation among the different people who is following the project. So it gives us this written traceability, the global view of all the project, of the process. There is a document that we are, maybe this is the link, Paul? I don't know
it's
if
the
it is,
link that
okay.
you have it inside the training module.
Okay.
If you want to be open, Miguel, or
yeah, of course.
I think it's this one.
Okay. No, I thought I wanted to mention, Paul, the other document that we are developing now. This is not closed yet. This is not public, let's call it like this, but a document to compile all the life cycle of the project.
Okay.
Trying
No, sorry.
to have all the data inside from the beginning to the end, also including the previous phases, feasibility and definition of needs and all this. And this is a Word document, a live document, which may evolve during the whole process. And the final goal of this document is exactly this, keeping traceability for everyone in the very long term, because some of these projects also may take some years. So like this, we know all the evolution and we know the roles and responsibilities and who is involved in each phase. You want to explain that this other one, Paul, maybe?
Well, no, the one you have just seen is the one that is included in here, and is just wanted to ask you if this is clear. Do you have any questions about that? Sorry. Oh. I don't know why I cannot make it.
No. No, it's working.
No, I just wanted to ask you if you have any questions regarding this, if it's clear. I mean, this is very for very simple construction or shelter works. Indeed, everything is like simplified. Okay, so what we have it in a bigger construction problem is like every of these singles steps, but this is like super developed. But in this case, it's just to have the every single step to be sure that it has been as a sort of checklist and has been accomplished one by one. And then, of course, the space for notes in according with the context. Just I wanted to share that, Miguel. But if they have questions or comments on this.
There is an interesting comment. I think there is the daily report will be by MSF or the contractor. This is a good question, I think. And yeah, I would say both of them, but it's better that it's MSF who writes, because we want to defend our interest. So it's on us to make the report saying what we want to say. And then also the contractor has to sign agreeing what we say. So we have to say the truth, but from our perspective. So if we feel that there is something which is not going well, we leave it in a written way. And also we give a copy to them also to be signed for both parties. So as a summary, I think it's us to write it and both to agree and to sign the document. This is an interesting point. Yeah. And I will make also a question to you on this regard. what do you think that this kind of report, the daily follow-up report, should include inside? So what is the content of a daily follow-up report for a construction or shelter project? Does anyone have an idea? Have you ever had any experience of this?
Should include the daily progress activities that are being carried out.
Exactly, but more specifically, which kind of information you think? For example, we can include. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
go ahead, sorry.
For example, you can include the number of workers. What type of work is ongoing? Is it civil? Is it casting concrete? It will be interesting for you to follow up. For example, when you cast concrete, queuing is on the next day and the third day.
Exactly. All these kind of things, labor who are there, material. We can have a finance also accountability to say how many payments have we been doing so far. So there is we have paid already 40% of the budget, and we have advanced also this X% based on the chronogram. So money should be included in this report, and also the chronogram evolution, because sometimes also we can face that we have paid a lot, but the progress is not in the real construction is not that big. So it means that the contractor is getting the money, but they are not doing the work. All this kind of information is very interesting to be put in this daily report because we can see the evolution of the works. Yeah, and also if we face any kind of specific challenge that we need some support, also this is the place to put it. Sometimes we try or we tend to hide, and to try to solve by ourselves, but I would recommend to give the how to say this, to explain to everyone and to ask for support if it's needed. So don't try to hide and to try and if there is any challenge, it's better to communicate at the beginning and then all together trying to get a solution to this. And this is one of the purposes of this follow-up report. Can we go to the next one, Pablo? Yeah, the handover and continuity, we have already mentioned this point. This is important given these documents for the next one who will come. Yeah, we need to archive also all the documents in a right way. We need to have a clear site on our computers, and also communicate among ourselves with our loco, our LTL, to know where these files are, because most of the time, or not always, but it's often that there is someone who is doing a technical work, and then we lost a bit the track. So everyone needs to know where it is. And then also, I think you need to click there, Paul. Sorry. Yeah, another one. Formal handover needs to happen. This formal handover is just leaving a end of mission report when someone is leaving his position. We need a report to know what he has been doing and knowing the key elements of his work. And then the last point, you click twice, another one, end of construction, start of operation. It means that, well, this is like a technical process. We know that everyone is involved, but this construction is more on the logistics side. But then when we start operation, most of the times when we have a medical service, it means also that we are giving this outcome to the medical team. Very important not for this case of sheltering, because these are mainly small projects, but on the bigger projects when we involve medical team, very important to have this kind of delivery to the medical team all together to make them understand what is the use of the spaces that we have proposed. Because sometimes we give a word and they don't know exactly what is what because they are medical, this is not their job. So if we can accompany them and explain the use of a space, where the nursing spaces are, the nursing stations, where the beds should be placed, this is much better. And we can ensure that the use of this space will be in a right way. Yeah, I think that's all. This is on you, Pablo, or you want me to explain? You're on mute, eh?
Yeah, sorry, Collins, you have your micro open. I don't know if you want to comment something or not.
Actually, the question I have, I text it at a chat, a message on the group. So I'm just asking, there is a checklist you showed us, and I'm really interested in getting clarity on this. You indicated safety. So at what point can we administer this checklist to tick them and put them as a document, maybe archive them? At what point, maybe for every project or for every construction work we are carrying out, at what point can we administer this checklist? Or is this something that we can be doing periodically to be following up this project? I just want to know, maybe if it's.
You want to answer, Bob?
Maybe I didn't understood the first part of the questions. So that which tool you specifically are talking about?
Thank you very much. You showed us a particular checklist of
this one.
Yeah.
PDF.
So where we have safety material. Yeah. So I'm just interested to know at what point key elements to control. How often is it something that we can do more than once to keep all these checklists?
Yeah, I think these are it's a regular follow-up that you need to do. Okay, it's not it's for every construction. Okay, well, once you are starting the the implementation of what is the construction on the building site, this you can keep it with you and start to check these ones very regular, even like every weekly is something that you can monitor together with the who is responsible for the construction or for the supervision works. Because some of these points, okay, some of these points they are not happening at the same time. Okay, for example, the network, the connection with the network doesn't mean that are happening since the beginning. But for example, this is something that is happening like all the time during the whole lifespan of the construction or the implementation. So you have to take in consideration this. Material and delivery equipment. This is something that is happens once in a while, or when they are bringing materials to the site. The implantation is happening only at the beginning. At least there is some extensions to the construction, so they will happen only once. Ground preparation as well is happening only at the beginning, unless you are doing your works like in different phases. But it's something that you have to. I think the recommendation in this end is a small tool, very simple checklist that you can keep it always. Since the beginning of the implementations till the end of the works, just to be sure that all these things are happening, and this is the most simple let's say checklist, because this inside there is well, in a construction projects there are like many sub categories, but this is like the most simplified version of you know, of a tool to do a follow-up. Okay.
It's a kind of reminder, no, that you have
Yeah.
there, and you say, okay, to not forget something, you read it there.
Okay, hope is clear. And then we have only a bit more of 15 minutes to view this the case study, and but it was basically only to just to ask you if the well, if you have any issue to fulfill this exercise, the case study, if the objective was clear, if you have the moment that you were compiling documents, that you were, you know, filling the templates that has been given to you, do you have any issue? I cannot see you. So we don't have the time to do, you know, the full exercise, like to ask you what should be the first action when you arrive into Sohanco site. What will be the, what do you think are the main constraints from the environmental point of view that might affect your design choices? How do you pick up? How do you select your materials? Do you think it's emergency or emergency project? Have you choose to do something temporary, semi-permanent? So what are the you know, all these questions could be done with a little bit more of time, and but since we don't have a lot of time, just wanted to know if you have any issue in this in the different phases. Anyone wants to jump? Yes, we have some hands.
First of all, we need to make a site visit to determine the proper place of the extension of the waiting area. And then we can decide, because in the case study, we have several aspects we need to take into consideration: the soil, the place, the road, and then the flash floods as well. And also to check the distance between the consultation rooms and the current waiting area, and where to properly place it so it doesn't disrupt the team. But from my first initial thought was to put it next to the primary school, and west of the primary school. Yes, this was the initial. Yes.
And the reason behind to put it in that position?
It's a bit far from the consultation rooms and close to the entrance, so people initially would enter and they will wait in the waiting area, and then if their turn, I will keep the benches for the internal waiting area so that not everyone is congested in one place, so that people that are waiting for the consultation room and it's their turn, caretaker can wait and the patient can enter, for example.
Okay. Okay, let's say that you have well, this whenever you are dealing with where these kind of projects, you have to take decisions. And since you were alone and you didn't have like any medical besides you, we are supposing that is obeying to a medical medical advice. In your case, you are let's say, is prioritizing the crowd control, no, to have, since put it closer to the entrance, as soon as they get in the facilities, you are organizing the people who is coming to all the persons that are coming to for a daily medical visit. And you organize in that way. A medical might say that yes, I wanted to have it closer to the OPD to avoid that is this they start to walk around the hospital, blah blah blah. But it's a assumption that we have made, and I think it's okay. Any other variant to
I
this?
think, Paul,
Yes,
this
go
is a
ahead.
good learning from this exercise, knowing that there is no perfect solution. It depends what you want to maximize and what you want to solve. So if you want to be closer, if your main objective is to be closer to the access, this will be better. But then if, I don't know, if there is a shade on the other side that you want to take advantage of this will be something else. So it always depends on what you analyze. One thing or something else will be the best solution, and it will, some of these cases also will depend on the specific person who will be there.
Thanks, Miguel. So any other reaction on this? There is any other environmental constraints that you have you took in considerations for place for the design and construction of your waiting area? Yes.
Hello. We need to put in consideration in the design how it would be in sunny days, winter days, and the pinches distribution, the flow, all of this.
Okay. Yes, but you are talking indeed to many different, factors that need to be taken in consideration from the climate, from the medical needs, from the how does it work the rest of the hospital, and well, yes, all of them I think are valid, and indeed in my question as well is like, is any of these factors or has been a constraint in your answer? Have you taken consideration this when you made the choices that you made?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you explain a little bit how?
يعني
Just a quick example.
When we start doing like a winterization plan for our PHCs, we made like roofs for the waiting area with drainage for the rainwater and soakaways.
Okay.
Yes.
So sorry, this in which project?
Gaza
Because
city.
the climate, because the winter can be quite hard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think in this case, yes, you need to be taken in consideration these factors. It might be that you are right to a project, and this has been asked by the medical, to do something, and you are in the middle of the dry seasons, and you cannot even imagine that the rainy seasons will be that heavy that you just don't take it in consideration. But it's important to make this kind of observation, like how will be, or to be a little bit more to use a little bit as well imagination. How it will be this when during the race seasons? We will need, like you said, like soccer weight piece. We need to make trenches or drainage for the water coming from even for a waiting area. It will affect it will affect my building. It will affect the others' buildings. The rainwater that we are trying to manage. So all of these, they are quite valid questions. I remember just as another project in Kashmir in Pakistan, where so I arrived after the Kashmir earthquake it was in January, and the temperatures were going like 5 degrees below zero during that time, and we were just super busy doing looking for materials for the so the full hospital has been done in tents, and we were looking for materials to isolate from the low temperatures and put in heating inside some of the tents, and and then I stayed there for for 3 months, and so that means like in March, and some construction. There was some construction aside done with metallic containers. My colleague put his, start to be a little bit more warmer and warmer, and he put his arm in in a container after in the afternoon after we exposed it on the sun during the whole day. And it's not that he got burned, but he realized that the temperatures started to be a little bit higher, and it was still a spring. And then because of that small experience, he said like, wait a minute, but how this will be during summer, because we are still in March, and we start to ask around to the to the staff, and well, we realized that also the summer is super hot. So where we were just putting isolation for the cold, we haven't started to think about shade nets for the tents, and air conditioning for some containers, and this kind of stuff. And we just arrived not on time, but a little bit in delay for this kind of point, for this issue in particular. But just to say, you have to think in all these factors beforehand, to to try to forecast a little bit more the needs in the future. So we are just running out of time. I just wanted to show this. It's not there. Wait. I just wanted to see if we have the I cannot find the sorry, I cannot put here. Maybe if I make like this. Okay, this one. So this is a document that you was part of the exercise as well. Okay, that is also like a good template, or a good document for really simple constructions works, where you have to fill it with all the data. What is the type of project that you are following, to make a description of this, what is to really frame what is the scope of your project and what you are not doing or what you should not be doing. And then of course the needs of all the phases that are like the needs of assessment, general description of the project, who will be the clients, how will be used, the justification of the projects, some notes that are always relevant according with the chats that you have with the medical team, and so on. No preliminary phase, and what the feasibility. This will be. Do you have all this? It's a really good checklist of all what you might need or you have in your head, and then it will be if it will be feasible or not, and then the sketch that you should have been made, a little bit more in scale. This is what you have seen in the first 3 modules, how to do a clear design, just to be sure that you are putting everything very clear, that they are readable, all these dimensions, not only for you but also for the doctors, that for the doctors for a small contractor as well, if everything is clear. And well, be a small BOQ. Human resources, do you think they need? The example that we made, you in theory have to calculate that this one can be done, all the activities that can be done in parallel, or some activities that need to wait to the previous one to be accomplished. And I think it's that pretty much that. So I hope that you did this this document. This is the notes of of the follow-up supervision, or the daily supervision, and yes, is the full, let's say, the full cycle of a small project. So take this one and as an example to be to be used in the future, and if there is any questions, don't hesitate to ask us. We just mentioned this. Not time for this as well as a group reflection, but I would like to just to give the final takeaways. Very important as a tool to use a chronogram or a timetable, because it will give you more objectivity and to you, to your clients, to the contractor, and it's a tool as well to communicate, update it as soon as possible. So the contract is it means to be accountable as well, to make sure that all the objectives are clear, are sharp, and will be in agree and sign it in a paper. And then the follow-up is as well is equivalent to quality control. So you have the tools to do it. There is many documentations regarding how to do how to follow, not how to follow, but some steps inside the construction. And then finally the handover that is equals to be more sustainable. Is we have the tendency to miss this part, to do a proper handover with the medical team or with the clients in general, or if we are leaving the because you stay there for 6 months, but please be sure that this small structure will be keep it in shape. That you will plan it some maintenance, that people know how to use it, and that is use it as it was planned. Okay. So final takeaway: every well-planned project is a promise kept to the final user. So the more we invest time and quality in the planning phases, the most will be let's say accurate to the real needs. And now I will see if I can see you. Is there any remarks on or general questions on this? I think somebody already has started to leave. There is any final final thoughts on the final slides? Otherwise, Michael, we can.
Yeah. Okay. It was a long session, so I will not.
Well, 2 hours is what you
Yeah.
asked.
Yeah. Well, it was long and nice. I wanted to say, and very nice. So thank you to all of you for your time. The course is still open for the next. I mean, the course will remain open for you as a consultation mode, so you can access any time to the content for anything you need. Try to complete the modules that you did not finish yet. This, yes, do it as soon as possible, because in case you have any question and doubt, you can still ask it in the forum, and Paul, Miguel, and the rest of the team, they can answer to your technical questions, but try to don't take longer to finalize the modules. Like this, we can liberate them. But you will be able to access anytime to the course. And yeah, apart from that, remind you that we start the LTT Energy next week for the ones that are registered, and the LTT Biomed beginning of December for the ones that you are interested. You are still in the period for the registration if you are interested. Nothing else. Thank you very much to all of you for your participation to this LTT. It was a pleasure. Hope to see you in the next LTT. Thank you very much also to the Shelter technical team for your work. And thanks. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. A pleasure.
Bye.
Thanks. Thanks all. Bye.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye. Thank you.